Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Amol Gill. I'm the sales director here at ThoughtFarmer. The format for today's webinar will be approximately about 25 to 30 minutes with a 10-minute question period at the end if there is any. If you have any questions, please type them in the question box as we go. Today we have Colton Tillman, a client advisor here at ThoughtFarmer, presenting our webinar, Modern Digital Workplace, a live demo of ThoughtFarmer. Colton, go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Amol. Like Amol said, I'm a client advisor at ThoughtFarmer. Probably a little more accurately, though, is more of a digital workplace advisor, just engaging with people and companies and helping them diagnose challenges like lack of internal communications or low employee engagement or sort of divisional, maybe siloed culture and locations of departments. Or some companies have really good policies out there that are just too difficult for employees to find. So that's kind of the sweet spot I work in, just connecting you guys with the right information, the right tools, and the right people to help you solve these kinds of challenges. And one of the many ways of solving common issues like these is, of course, with a modern internet. And today we're just going to look into a quick preview of how ThoughtFarmer is working in that space to overcome those challenges. So I'll share some best practices, and my hope is that you'll come out of this with some inspiration and just some ideas that maybe you can apply to your own internal comms plan. So yeah, first 10 minutes, we'll do a quick intro of who we are and just share some stories and screenshots of some companies and how they're using a modern digital workplace. And if you are starting an internet project revamp, I'll just share a quick some best practice approach for that as well. 20-minute demo, and then and some time for some Q&A after. Okay, so what is ThoughtFarmer all about? We are an out-of-the-box internet product. So really just providing that centralized space where employees can quickly find information, collaborate on projects, stay up to date on company news, and really just participate in a vibrant online community. With your internet, you probably have those traditional components typically available, like creating structured content, news, employee directory, document libraries. Those are all built in within ThoughtFarmer. But what we've really honed in on is those additional components, like those collaborative features, commenting, employee profiles, blogging, knowledge-based discussion forums, and that sort of social layer is often what most people are after when they're planning an internet project. So it's not only that central place for content, but also having that modern digital workspace with the ability to collaborate with one another as well. And when you're looking for an internet project, there are about 4 major areas people are looking to achieve. The first one is central place for content and collaboration, and just using your internet as a place to share and collaborate on ideas and documents, whether it is at work, whether it's at home, or remotely on your mobile. Having that sort of virtual project space really encourages the conversations and information sharing and provide a lot of business value. Second big one there is integrating your systems. Your employees are going to have a lot of systems, and using the internet as that central hub for all your spots, so your staff can link in and log in from that single intuitive spot. You'll have the ability to hook into other technologies, which really simplifies access to those business tools and systems that your staff use on a day-to-day basis to get their job done. Third one there being engaging employees. So at the core of your project should really be your employees. And, you can get a lot of things right with your internet, like technology, features. You can check a lot of boxes there. But what you really don't want to get wrong is the employee engagement factor. So if you want to foster a long-term development and value for your internet, you need those social elements to take place and, bring people together to organically grow the system. So introducing those social and collaborative elements, the opportunities to engage with staff become a much richer experience. Last one there being improving internal communications, and using the internet as that single source and primary source for company news and reference material. The average employee actually sends and receives about 105 emails a day, and the time spent reading those emails is about 28%. So it's a big issue. Common challenges that most companies these days is that these emails, these newsletters, or that top level information that are being sent through email doesn't really get the attention it deserves, because people's their attention is elsewhere. Their inboxes are just flooded with emails. So having that primary single channel on your intranet that reaches all staff where it looks good is where we're seeing a lot of companies improve their internal comms and saving 25 to even 30% of time with their intranets. So yeah, I want to share a couple stories and screenshots of some current clients and how they're using, a modern digital workplace for their internal comms. The first one here is Mountain Equipment Co-op. They are a retail organization that sells outdoor gear and apparel. They have a ton of different locations spread across the country, about just under 3,000 employees. A comparable store in the States would be REI for those of you tuning in from the US. So a lot of different locations, a lot of staff, and you can see that plain text emails didn't work for them anymore. So what they've done is they put their news right on their internet, of course, and right away, what you're going to see here is the news. You can see what's happening in the organization with that company-wide news, as well as the group news, with product announcements. They're also highlighting some internal employee satisfaction surveys, and you can see this content article here. And check out the feedback. There's 10 comments, and just imagine the people commenting through email. 10 comments would equal 10 emails, and that would how that goes. Overall, they just have really good imagery, and it looks a lot more engaging than just plain text. The other one here is Form Credit Union. They're also based out of the States, about 350 employees. Their intranet is called the Grid, and they've placed a huge importance on the findability of information. And with credit unions in general, information such as policies and procedures, and access to your products and services, this stuff needs to be readily accessible for in an easy and intuitive way for your frontline employees who are serving members. So with them, their homepage is really simple, just an effective page that helps their staff get quick access to the job, to the tools and information that the staff need to get their job done. And one of the first things you're going to see is that company-wide news here on this carousel. Really great for highlighting that important news that you want your staff to engage with. On the right-hand side, they also have a employee, a CEO news blog here. This is where the CEO publishes monthly blog posts, and they really wanted to open up two-way communications as opposed to strictly that top-down communication. So they opened up that ability for staff and to like posts and comment on posts, and they've had a ton of success with that. Mini calendar on the left-hand side here, birthdays, and a great way to recognize employees is also work anniversaries, how long they've been with the company. Ultimately, the navigation is really easy to understand. Quick links card on the right-hand side. In there, they have a link called Job Aids that really gives their employees a quick access, that one-click access as well, with the information they need. All right, so some of the features to keep in mind when we're running through the demo, you have those typical features like social features like news, pages, profiles, likes, and then you have more of the technical features like Active Directory, Word import, Employee Directory, and we'll try to cover as much of that as we can during the live demo. And with that said, let's jump into the live demo. Okay. So here we have, so this is it's a mock-up intranet, a company we actually made up. It's called Pacific Credit Union, and the first thing we'll check out is the homepage. And with any homepage, it's going to be it's going to play a big role as that front door for your organization. So employees are going to go and they're going to get access to that business critical information or tools in a very easy and intuitive way. When you are looking for a new intranet, or maybe you're building your own homepage, a few things to keep in mind. About 7 key elements. It should have internal news, effective navigation, key tools that help their staff in their day-to-day work. The homepage should include key information, company metrics, for instance, collaborative elements, internal marketing, and the homepage should include, it should give you the ability to customize it in a way that really shows off your culture and your community. And we'll just take a quick tour of this homepage and how it's set up. So we got locations here on the top level navigation, departments, company news, team calendar, employee directory, knowledge-based discussion forum. If we wanted to add a top level page to this to this navigation. I am an admin, so I have access to this gear icon on the right-hand side. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to add a top-level page. And here we are in edit mode. And this is where you go to create web pages on your intranet. So you'll notice that familiar rich text editor, much like you'd see in Word, has that easy formatting, supporting images, tables, embedding videos. On the right-hand side, you have your content type. So what kind of content do you want to create? Do you want to create a page, a section, a group, a news, blog, form, calendar, photo gallery, or a link? In this case, we are going to create a section, and we are going to call that resources. And let's hit publish. And now we can see that resources section is on that top level navigation. If we did want to switch that and reorder that, we'd click on this button here, and we just simply drag and drop it to where we want it to be. Let's put it there, and let's push save. And now you can see that resources tab is right there. So it's totally configurable what really makes sense for your IA for your company there. Awesome. So really the first thing your staff is going to see when they come to the homepage is the news. And the way we look at news is global versus local. So global is that, like company-wide news, strategic roadmaps, town halls, community outreach programs, new product launches, service launches, news that you want all the staff to see. And then we have the local news. And when it comes to your local news, our philosophy is really about keeping it relevant to the user. And as an end user, you want to see news that relates to your role and your department and what you're involved in. So each individual, when they log in, they're only going to see the news to the groups they're part of. So it's created within the groups that you're subscribed to, really just giving them a more tailored experience. An example of how that would look like, I am a part of the IT team. I'm part of the comms team. So if I jump into my groups here, let's jump into this communications page. This is the communications group, and this is the group news here. But you also notice the members of this group on the left-hand side. So when these people log into their homepage on the internet, they are also going to see this news page surfacing right to their homepage. Yeah, and then right from the homepage, you can also create posts. So let's give a quick example of that. If you wanted to create some news, we're going to add a post to the communications team. Again, you'll see this consistent web page editor interface, and let's title this post new comms manager. If you did have the content already written in Word doc, we have this direct import from Word tool. So you can really just browse your desktop and pick out that news article that you already wrote, and that's going to directly import it into the web page. Some other publishing details you might want to consider is the option to stick it at the top of the page. You can publish at a later date. Alternatively, if you wanted to set an archive date, maybe you just want to set a window, you want it to expire at a certain date, you could do that as well as an option. We are just going to hit publish here. And you can see that news article surfacing right to this homepage. All right, so continuing with the tour of the homepage, there is additional navigation on the left-hand side, a poll card for getting that quick feedback, whether it's you can do informal poll, you can do a formal poll. There's a team calendar card on the left-hand side here, and a birthday card. Just when we talk about cards, we're talking about these are essentially building blocks for your pages. Individual feature components you can plug into any page. It's totally up to you how you want to organize those cards and build the layout of your page. It's all done through clicks and drag and drop, and no coding required. Just a quick look of how that would look like. Essentially, these are the 3 lanes, and these are the cards that we're talking about, and you can just sort of switch them around really to what makes sense for you guys. We have a quick links card on the right-hand side here. This is very useful for launching into those commonly used tools and information. Here's one, I am new, where's everything? It's a very popular page, gives you all the information you need. For me, I need the right information, and when I don't when I don't get it, I go a little crazy. I remember traveling to Cambodia, and we're trying to find the hotel at the end of the day. It was dark, we're tired and hungry, just could not find the place. Of course, there was some cheap place that nobody heard of, no street signs, no Google Maps to tell us where to go. It took about 30 people on the side of the street before somebody actually knew where it was. So we eventually found it, but it took a long time. It was frustrating. I think the next day I got some data card from my phone so I could have access to Google, but it probably wouldn't have been on there either way. But yeah, information is important, and today we come to expect it at our fingertips. So equipping your employees with the right information is crucial. So yeah, that's the quick links card, and there's also a leadership blog here, a Twitter card on the right hand side, and then the center down below here we have what's called a activity stream. And the activity stream, it's really a quick way to see what your colleagues are up to. And all comments are in real time. And you can sort of capture the discussions. You can add attachments and comments and updates. You can also send microblogging updates to specific groups. So an example there would be, let's say the conference has been changed to June, and we want the communications to see that. Let's hit share, and there's that update there, so people can like it, they can comment, and all that good stuff. Another great thing here is shoutouts, and you could, I love using this feature. You can, mention a person and give them quick feedback for the work they're doing. So let's do an example of that. Say, nice work, Brooke. And Elijah on the presentation. Let's say everyone can see this. And let's hit shout out. So yeah, we got that shout out there with the trophy and little profile icons. And again, people can like and comment and all that kind of stuff. Awesome. So you can see sort of that employee recognition taking place there in that shoutouts feature, which is kind of cool. And yeah, you're already starting to see how those collaborative elements form that sense of community and culture in your organization. With those activity streams, birthdays, calendars, news, and all that stuff. Yeah, so we've looked at the homepage news, and that is typically where you're going to see that top-down company news, that sort of that vertical communications. Now we're going to look at the group news. So let's jump into the communications group. And with groups, this is where you're going to see a lot of collaboration happening, more of the horizontal group sort of communications taking place. So groups, they can be departments, locations. Maybe you just want to zoom into specialized project teams, more smaller dedicated teams. You can do that as well. Let's actually jump into this location, Cole Harbour Group. And okay, so this is the Cole Harbour location. So if you are a part of this location, you would be a member of this group. And we have our members here. It is a physical location, so we have them on a map here. They got some news there for their group, and also some relevant content, activity stream, and a dedicated calendar for that location as well. And when you start to utilize groups on your intranet, you're going to see a few things happen. You're going to reduce those organizational silos, improve staff effectiveness, as well as delivery of projects, increase innovation, reduce duplication of work, improve knowledge management, and foster collaboration. So if you haven't already, go check out some of the case studies. IDEO or URC, a nonprofit company, over 800 employees, spread across 40 countries. And you can just imagine the need to have that centralized place for not only the vertical communications, but more the horizontal group-to-group collaboration and knowledge sharing as well. So we see the members here. Let's kind of use that as a segue to jump into these profiles. So you got that standard information like email, phone number, title, can all be synced with Active Directory. The other areas you might want to encourage staff to fill out, perhaps expertise and skills, maybe it's languages spoken or technical skills or education. And what this is going to do, it's really going to make finding subject matter experts easy to do. So if we jump over to the employee directory and I need to find somebody who speaks French and who's also good at customer service. So we have 121 people on our staff here. Let's just see if we type in French, we can find some people. We found 4 people who speak French. Let's say, for example, we wanted to drill down and find somebody who also is good at customer service, like we were talking about. And we can see these tags here, customer service, and now it's narrowed it down to these 2 people who speak French and also have expertise in customer service, so we can contact them. And when people log into the site, this is kind of really the first thing they're going to do is go into the employee directory and look at their staff, and look at profiles and just try to find people. Really provides them with that self-help for finding subject matter experts. Another quick thing here is the organizational chart. And this is you can kind of see how your organization is laid out, where you are within it. And, for instance, you can it's interactive, it's dynamic, and it's one of our newer features that we're very proud of. It's kind of cool. And you can see the kind of line there. You can also search for people as well. Let's look for a friend of Mole, a sales director. And he's way down there below me, of course. And so that's kind of how that works. The org chart. And jumping back to the homepage. Okay, so talked about a lot already. Talked about the homepage news, tour of the homepage, local news versus global news, activity streams, group pages, profiles, and the employee directory and the org chart. But now what we're going to do is jump back to that resources page, and we're going to start to build this page out. It's not going to quite look like this, but we'll kind of get a feel for what it's like to build that out. So we're going to create a couple of subsections, and we're going to press add here. And the one subsection we're going to create is a finance section. We're going to hit publish. And we're going to create another subsection called communications. We're going to hit publish again. So now you can see those 2 sections below resources. And now we want to add some content on our intranet. There are a couple ways of storing policies and documents on the intranet. You can either store the policy into document libraries as a file, or you can upload them directly onto web pages within the intranet. So taking this example of uploading into files, we are going to create a comms folder over here, create the folder, and we're just going to start taking files from our desktop and putting them into this folder. Let's grab this PDF, Word doc, and Excel spreadsheet. Let's hit open, and now you can see these 3 files underneath this comms folder here. So it's got that document library system if you want to do that. Now the other way of doing that is to add the content directly into web pages. So let's add the policy like that, and let's use that direct from Word import tool we talked about. Let's grab this policy. We're going to import that, and we're going to hit publish, and there it is right there, right on the web page. So out of the 2 ways of doing that, we highly recommend doing it this way, just storing it within web pages on your intranet. Typically what we see here is end users, they go in and they bookmark the page, and wherever they are on the internet, they frequently access this document, and they just they go right to it right away. They don't have to download the file or anything like that. It's just right there. So it's really simplifies the accessibility and for the user. One thing you probably did notice on the site is the ability to comment. And it is something you can turn off and on. Enabling comment it's awesome if you're collaborating on documents, or this happens to me all the time. You say you had a big meeting, and the notes are posted on the internet. You have this brilliant idea that you thought of after. Having that place to extend the conversation is where we're noticing a lot of modern forward-thinking companies take advantage of. So let's just say a common comment here, and say this is out of date or needs an update, like that. So the content author would come into here, and since I have edit privileges, I can go ahead and edit this document. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to delete some stuff. I'm going to add a few things. I'm going to hit save. So now this is the most current version, and we have that assurance that this policy is that single source of truth, and because I am the one with edit privileges, nobody else is going to be. Everyone's going to be on the same page when it comes to your company policies. And if you did want to revert to a previous version, you could go to the version history here. This is the version history interface. You can see what's been added in yellow and what's been removed in red. And it's got a timestamp there, date and timestamp with the content author, so really good audit trail there. If you did want to revert back to that previous version, you just click on that restore the previous version, and let's get out of there. And now that's the first version, well, version 3, but it's the newest version. So the same thing goes with the file folders as well. So you have your files, and each file has its own dedicated web page that it lives. So again, you have those comments. This would work a little differently. What you do here is you open it for editing. You'd make your changes, save it to your desktop, and then check it back in. So it's a check-in, check-out type feature. So yeah, it works pretty much almost the same as far as version history goes as well. And again, having that commenting place for these dedicated documents really just opens up the collaboration there. Another sort of neat feature is this share feature. If you did have a piece of content you wanted to share to your group, or maybe it's a specific group, you could do that here. Let's say check this out, and let's again target the communications team. Let's hit share, and if you go back to your communications group here, this is showing up in the activity feed. This is the policy that we just shared, so that's kind of cool. And again, you can comment and sort of collaborate from there. All right. So now that we have a few pieces of content on our intranet, I wanted to show you how search kind of works. When it comes to search, it is a major feature, and when done right, it will really make the difference for your staff. What ThoughtFarmer will do is fully index your files. So what that means is that it will search for the words within your documents and then surface them to your results. So it's very handy if you can't remember the location or the title of a document, but you kind of know a keyword within the document. This happens all the time to me. Let's try an example here, PCUQ4, and I'm looking for a spreadsheet, and this is the one I'm looking for that I just added this 5 minutes ago, and this keyword is within this spreadsheet. So that there's a ton more to search, and best bets and suggested search. If you want to learn more, feel free to connect with me after, and we can run through that. Another thing we wanted to run through today is security permissions, because on your intranet, you're going to have places that you want all people to have access to, but you're going to also have some places, some sections that you want to restrict access to. So we're going to come to this communications page here, and right now we can see that in the security, all registered users can view this page. Let's log into, this is a separate browser, a separate user, his name is Tom. He is part of the legal team, and he's also part of the Victoria branch, so that's his newsfeed there. Let's just give that a refresh to see those resources. Okay, so we're going to jump into the resources right now, and he can see that comms page. If we jump into the security permissions, and let's say, for instance, I only want the communications team to see this. This works with Active Directory. And I want to delete this one here. Let's press save. So now only the comms team can see this. And if we jump back to Tom, let's refresh. And now he can't even see that that comms page there. So because he is not a part of it. So that's kind of how that's how that works. And even if there, say there's content within that page, activity streams, or comments, or documents, even if he searched for those would not even show up in the search results. So it's as if that stuff doesn't exist. So great, we talked about a lot, creating web pages, building out sections, adding documents such as policies, editing, version history, search, and security permissions. Just a few more things to show you. One thing is the discussion forum, and this knowledge base of collaborating and discussing ideas. Yeah, this is a knowledge base. Here's an example of a discussion forum where somebody's actually reaching out to the locations, asking for some customer service tips. So people are commenting, they're liking, sharing videos. Really collaborative space. You really get a feel for that internal knowledge sharing that's growing on your internet, that's forming on your internet. And yeah, just another collaborative and engaging approach to getting insights from your peers. If you aren't utilizing something like this right now, it's highly recommended that you do. It's just a great place to share sort of insights between your teams. Yeah, a couple more things here. Let's look at how ThoughtFarmer would look like on your mobile device with responsive design. So your staff might not have access to the desktop, while they're working. Maybe they're operators, maybe they're in the field, on the go, traveling. So having something like responsive design is handy for those folks. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pull in the screen. And what's that do is it's just stacking up all those columns and those cards. And you can see the global news here, my news here on the local news, and this is of course how it would look like in mobile. You also have the activity stream, and any feature that's available on your desktop, you also have the same capabilities and function on your mobile version. So responsive design is great. A lot of companies these days allow their employees to bring their own devices, their own company phones, and then responsive design just allows for that usability for any type of device, as opposed to Android or iOS specific app. Last thing here I wanted to cover is the administration panel and some statistics. And when you launch your internet, you're gonna have a lot of goals and stats in mind that you want to achieve. So let's jump into that administration panel. There's a couple layers here. One layer of analytics is right within ThoughtFarmer here, more of a high level stats, where we can see some of the content owners, top 10 content owners, and identify your internet champions. Also seeing the top 10 pages. So you can see which pages are performing well, and conversely, which pages are not performing well. And maybe you want to look at the ones that aren't performing well and just provide a little more visibility to that. You'd have the ability to do that. If you did want a sort of a deeper dive into analytics, you can jump into a thing called Internet Statistics that also comes with ThoughtFarmer. And you can jump into pretty much anything you want, like pages, page views, bounce rates, all that stuff. You can export it to Excel if you want to further manipulate that as well, and pull timeframes and all that stuff. So that's Internet Statistics. That is analytics. And that's pretty much a wrap of everything we wanted to cover today in the product demo as a modern digital workplace. So yeah, we covered a lot there. If and that was kind of quick. If anything stands out, or if you have any questions or comments, we can certainly tackle those now.
Perfect. Thanks, Colton. Colton, you can hear me okay?
I can. Yep.
All right, perfect. Yep, so we have some time here if there's any kind of additional questions on anybody's side there. Maybe one of the things that we can start with is just like user management, right? So like, what are the best ways for clients to be able to kind of manage the back end for users there?
Yeah, the best way is if you have Active Directory, there's a full two-way synchronization with Active Directory, so you can sync user groups, security profiles, user fields, just allowing for that single sign-on. So if you do have Active Directory in your stack there, that's a good way. Other way, of course, is managing it within the intranet itself, so you can do that as well as an option.
Perfect. And when it comes to like branding of the site, what are some options there?
Yeah, so it's it's pretty easy to create your own branding. It's no technical coding required or anything like that. I think Miramol did this site, so you can tell how easy it is to do. But it is we have a full in-house design team in-house, and it does come with a couple mock-ups and iterations, and we can design the branding for you.
So Audra has a question here about Google. So as we are we able to integrate user management with Google as opposed to Active Directory? I can address that there.
Sure.
Typically with Google, a lot of times it's like this kind of SAML integration that's taking place there as well, like a third-party integration that sometimes is with Google. We have done some basic prototyping where authentication can take place there, but it would be maybe good to just do a follow-up there, Audra, and we can kind of talk about different ways to be able to accomplish that as well. Any other questions here? All right, I think we're good.
Okay.
So thanks again, Colton, for taking the time here. I think it was a really good thorough review of ThoughtFarmer and some of the capabilities there. I really do hope that the people that attended today got some value out of the demo today. And if there is any kind of additional questions, maybe you want to do like a personalized demo, just reach out to us, sales@thoughtfarmer.com, or you can just give us a call. Either way, we'd be happy to give you guys a hand. All right, thank you guys.
Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.